Hi guys, how's it going? It's Alratom Chagi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to look at companies that have declared dividends and are going to be paid this month and the next month. Honestly, the second half of the year is the most exciting time for dividend investors because a lot of companies reward their investors with dividends, and nothing top that feeling, the excitement that you get when you receive a dividend. Even if it's just 10 rands, you just get so excited and you just know that if you keep going, one day you're gonna receive way more than that. It might take time, but it's not gonna take forever as long as you keep on investing and you keep on increasing the number of shares you have in a particular company or ETF. One day you're gonna enjoy the benefits of being an owner of a certain company or an ETF. Let's get into it, and please smash the subscribe button below and become part of the family and stay for content like this. Companies I'm going to mention have declared the amount that they're going to pay out and the date at which they're going to pay those dividends, and some companies have not because they have not yet released their interim results. So they have not declared dividends, even though we are waiting for some of those companies to release their interim results with the hope that some dividends will be declared. And dividend paying companies that will be paying in August and September are not limited to the companies that I'm going to be mentioning today. There are a lot more, just that I couldn't just exhaust all of them. So yeah, I'm not going to mention all the companies. And when a company releases their interim results and declares a dividend, share prices tends to go up and down. They fluctuate a lot, which is actually quite common because there are people that just buy dividends in a company that has declared the dividends just so that they can receive the dividends, and after the payout then they're going to sell the shares. But there's more to this. This is not the only reason why share prices tend to fluctuate that much after a dividend declaration and an earnings report. There's more to it, and there are multiple ways to look at it. But what I can say is you could consider buying more shares after a dividend payout because the share price would have taken a knock and the share price will be discounted. The first companies I'm going to look at are the companies in the banking sector. Nedbank, ABSA, and Standard Bank will be paying dividends soon. So if you have put your coins in them, expect some dividend payout. I don't know if I should say great, but expect some dividends. Nedbank has declared a dividend of 8.71 rand, which will be paid on the 10th of September, and the ex-dividend date being the 5th of September. And ABSA has declared a dividend of 6.85 rand, and it will be paid on the 17th of September, and the ex-dividend date is the 13th of September. And the last one is Standard Bank. It declared a dividend of 6.90 rand, which will be paid on the 17th of September, and the ex-dividend date is the 13th of September. So the ex-dividend date is the date at which the share begin trading without the benefit of the next dividend payment. For example, if you buy Standard Bank shares after the 13th of September, you are not going to receive the dividends that they have declared. That's what the ex-dividend date is. So if you are looking to buy a company before they pay dividends, then you need to buy before the ex-dividend date. And with the high interest rates, the banks are really benefiting from that because they are earning more money on lending. And given the current state of economy we are at, a lot of people have relied on debt after or during COVID, so they are still paying those debt. So when they're paying those debt, it benefits the banks, and when the interest rates are high, the people that have incurred debt are being on the disadvantaged side, and the banks are just coining it. That is why you find that at times like this, banks tend to be more profitable and their earnings increase and they increase their dividends. The next company is Liberty 2 Degrees, which is a retail centered REIT. It has declared a dividend of 18 cents per share, which will be paid on the 27th of August, and the ex-dividend date is the 23rd of August. And this stock is going to be delisted and merged with Liberty Group, which will now become its parent because it intends to buy the minority interest in Liberty 2 Degrees. And Liberty Group is part of the Standard Bank group now, because Standard Bank also bought out a minority interest in the Liberty Group. Because Standard Bank owns the Liberty Group, when the transaction between Liberty Group and Liberty 2 Degrees Group is settled, Standard Bank will own Liberty 2 Degrees. Because Standard Bank owns Liberty Group, it's a parent of Liberty Group, so Liberty Group is a subsidiary. So subsidiaries of Liberty Group will now be subsidiaries of Standard Bank. That's why I say that Standard Bank will now own Liberty 2 Degrees when the transaction is settled. And it is expected that the transaction will be concluded by the end of the year. Then Liberty 2 Degrees will delist from the JSE. And honestly, I wonder what happens when a company delists, like what happens to your shares when a company delists. That's if you don't get to sell your shares until such transaction is concluded. I never got to experience that. So if any one of you have had a company in your portfolio and it was announced that it delisted and you never got to sell your shares until the transaction or the decision to delist is concluded, what happened to your shares? Like, I'd really want to know, because I wouldn't know what to do. I think I would just sell the shares immediately when they say this company is going to delist. Then we have AngloAmerican Platinum. It will pay a dividend of 12 rands on the 27th of August, and the ex-dividend date is the 23rd of August. Their last interim dividend was 41 rands, and now they're going to pay 12 rands per share. That is a huge drop. That is more than 100% drop in dividend declared, or that they're going to pay out. As an investor of Anglo, I would panic. I'd be unimpressed. I don't want to lie, because imagine last year it was declared 41 rands, and then this year there's that huge cut. Then what does that mean? You know, you'd ask yourself questions as to whether is this now maybe becoming a not so good stock, or what is happening. But as I've mentioned in my previous video, that earnings affect dividends. So the dividends have dropped because of the decline in their earnings of the first 6 months of this year compared to the first 6 months of last year. They have published their interim results. If you go to ShareNet, I think ShareNet, that's where you'll be able to access their interim results. And honestly, there could be a lot of in fact, there are a lot of factors that could affect the share price. It's not only earnings, but I just looked at their interim results, and I concluded that is because of the earnings. Also, they did mention in their report that they have experienced a decline in production, and obviously they didn't sell more, like business was not that good, and that affected earnings. And I guess that's why they now cut their dividends, like reduce their dividends. It only makes sense that they do so, because they didn't generate that much of income. And the fact that a decline in share price is most likely to lead to a drop in share price is very much evident with Anglo Platinum this time. They published their results on the 24th of July, which is almost a month ago. And if you go and look at the share price for the past month, you will see that it took a knock of 25%, 25 or 26. So it's down 26%. And that is because of the decline in earnings that they have reported. But Anglo Platinum is a big company, is the largest world producer of platinum, accounting for about 38% of the world's annual supply. So if you really believe that it will continue to be there in the future and do well, then you shouldn't be that shaken that they have reported a decline in earnings. You wouldn't feel the need to or panic into selling your shares because now the share price have dropped with 25%. Instead, you would buy more shares, keep on holding, and trusting that it will continue to do good, and you will realize your gains. The last company is Home Choice, which is in the retail and financial services space. They have declared a dividend of 70 cents, which will be paid on the 10th of September, and their ex-dividend date is the 6th of September. And it has been consistent with paying dividends. They only cut dividends in 2020, which is understandable. A lot of companies were struggling at the time, and it's in retail. Lockdown was affecting everything. So it's understandable why they cut dividends in 2020. But they're paying a bit more in dividends as compared to last year. So those are the companies that I have looked at. And if you are going to invest in dividend paying stocks, there are a lot of factors that you need to consider. Not only the dividend that they're declaring, but you need to look at their earnings, their reserves. Do they afford to pay these dividends? How much is their payout ratio, and how much is their dividend yield? Like, everything has to make sense, because the last thing you want is to invest in a company today simply because it has paid a dividend of 80 rands, and then in 2 years the company is delisting because it's going bankrupt. You don't want that. Dividends are for a passive income, so if you really want that passive income, it should be something that is going to last you for like a very long time. Have a company that that they're going to pay you dividends for the longest time, because even in the next 10 years they're going to be in business. So that's why I read somewhere actually that they said, as a dividend investor, you need to consider those defense stocks, the likes of ShopRite, retail companies that they sell food, healthcare, like those kind of companies, because one thing for sure is they're going to be here for the longest time. So that is that from me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Maybe I'll make a video on what to look at when you pick a dividend stock. I'll see when I'm going to shoot that one. But until then, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have liked the video, and you're gonna smash that like button and subscribe, and don't forget to comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video.